What's up, guys? Chris from the Review Cave here, and today I am finally giving you guys my thoughts on Chapter 169 of The Promised Neverland Perfect Scores. I'm sorry that I didn't upload at the same time as my Black Clover and My Hero Academia reviews. I just did not have the time to record that specific review at the exact time, and I've been busy the last day as well. So I'm finally getting around to actually giving this review recorded. So anyway, let's get started with what happens in this. So the chapter actually starts off with Oliver basically doing a whole inner monologue of basically if it wasn't for Peter Ratris and their promise and his clan in general, the kids wouldn't have been raised as food. Their families and friends wouldn't have been killed. A lot of lives probably would have been saved. Then we cut back to Peter Ratris basically saying how foolish everyone is for thinking all that, that he is basically their father. And at that moment, Oliver, Gillian, and everyone else starts getting flashbacks of Lucas back in Goldie Pond, and they basically say that he was basically their father, which does make sense. Lucas practically raised them at Goldie Pond to be strong, to take care of themselves, so they can end up taking down the demons there. He cared for them. He treated their injuries, and it makes sense. Lucas was basically the closest thing to a father figure that the kids have had, and thus we get to the point where the manga ended off last time, with Peter Ratris getting a gun pointed towards his head, and by Oliver and the rest. And what happens next is we actually get confirmation from everyone else that everyone that was being surrounded managed to get away. Norman, Emma, and Ray ended up taking care of Peter Ratris' men in that suite that he had. Basically took them down, incapacitated them, and tied them up. Same thing happened with Don and Gilda's group, and one of the kids that was with the hacking group, who went off ahead to pretty much find an escape route, and he ended up getting help from Oliver by running into them and brought them back so they can help him. And that was honestly really great. Now we know how they found their way there. And with that, Peter Ratris is tied up. Everyone's got guns pointed towards him, and things seem to be going well for everyone. Well, he ends up saying that just because they managed to capture him doesn't mean it means they won. There are still ways for him to pretty much win. Emma, Ray, and Norman basically say that he's wrong, that no matter what, they will find a way to get everyone out of here, to stop all this carnage and everything. And right at that moment, Isabella shows up with all the other mothers and sisters from the plants and Gracefield and everything, and surrounds all the kids, guns pointed towards them. She then starts to speak to them, saying that they did such a good job. You broke out, you saw the world, you destroyed everything. You kept destroying everything else. You destroyed the plants, you destroyed the aristocracy, stuff like that. I mean, she doesn't say that stuff specifically, but she's like, you kept fighting and fighting and fighting. You finally made it back here. And at that moment, she states the name of the chapter, Perfect Scores for Everyone. And then at that moment, Isabella basically orders everyone, all the mothers and sisters, to point their guns right at Peter Ratris. And it's at that moment that Peter basically screams out, Isabella, you betrayed me? Now that is something I was not completely expecting, because from the previous chapters, from the moment Peter Ratris basically recruited Isabella, we basically have seen her as her old menacing self, but with no real emotional attachments whatsoever. She had no real reason to betray him from what we saw at that point. But this goes to but with this, what we saw right now, it shows that Isabella does in fact have full awareness of what's going on, and she still regrets what she's done. And knowing Emma and everyone else and what they're doing, if they got caught now and got eaten by the demons, everything they would have done would have been for nothing. At least that's what I'm going for. So yeah, that's honestly how I believe Isabella is doing all this. She feels like if they can stop Peter Ratris, then all this madness will stop. And I feel like she does feel the same way about the Lambda farms as everybody else, having everyone just mass produce children with no free will, no knowledge of anything, not being able to move, basically not knowing freedom or anything else, which is inhumane and very, very dark. But damn, wow. So yeah, I do feel like Isabella, after how she cared for all the kids, despite having to send them off to their deaths, and she did actually care for them, especially since she was in fact one of them. And with that, you kind of have to take the feeling that maybe she was just buying her time for the opportunity to betray him. Maybe convince all the sisters and mothers, now that Isabella is a grandmother and is pretty much a head of the whole operation. She has the influence and the power to do so. So, yeah, she probably, from all the time spent during the time skip between Goldie Pond and the current arc, Isabella was buying her time for the inevitable return of everyone else, or just wanted to get everybody ready for an eventual coup. But yeah, that's how I feel is about Isabella's decision to betray Peter Ratris, how she came about to that. Overall, this chapter was pretty nice. It continued from where we left off. It showed. It's nice that we got a flashback to Lucas and Lucas taking care of everyone else. Oliver basically remembering how Lucas trained them, raised them, treated their wounds, helped teach them everything he knew. Now that was nice because it was like a while ago that those guys were killed off, and it's nice that we still get emotional attachments of these characters, whether it be flashbacks or by mention in other points of the story whenever they're in conversation, and how they ended up getting to Peter Ratris to basically hold him captive was great, and it was nice that the kids didn't have to kill any humans in this instance, especially Emma, Ray, and Norman, when they were surrounded by Peter Ratris' men. But now all of them are together, surrounding Peter Ratris. Isabella got as many sisters and mothers as she could, surrounded the kids and Ratris, and then all of a sudden pointed all their guns at Peter Ratris, essentially betraying the guy. So, is this where the Promised Neverland is in fact ending? We have no idea. There's no, from all I know, there's no concrete date of when Promised Neverland is ending, but it is confirmed that Promised Neverland is about to end. So, for all I know, there could be like a couple more. If it's ending in this arc right now, I'd give it like 5 to 10 more chapters. For all I know, there could be some kind of twist that can be thrown in to make it go a little longer and have like an eventual final confrontation. But with how things are set up, it does look like the Promised Neverland will end soon. But anyway, what did you guys think? Was this a good chapter? Was everything that was done in this chapter and the twist in the end acceptable to you? Was it something that you expected? Was it not expected? What do you think will happen next? Don't forget to leave all that in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for when I upload new stuff. And also follow me on Instagram and Twitter at the Official Review Cave, so you can get updates on future videos. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope you guys have an awesome day.